Okay, good morning everyone. Felich and Chanukah. Today's shir is dedicated again by our dear friend Rabbi David Halevi, from the tribe of the Levites, in honor of Chanukah, because Chashmanam, of course, we're from Shevet Levi, and also in honor of the yard site of his Rabbi Shmuel ben Yaakov HaKohen from a suburb of Kovna, whose yard site was this past week. Gan Eden to him and Uchasa, he should have an aliyah in Gan Eden and be Omeos Yosher for his whole family, for all of his descendants, for David, for Ruthie, and also in honor of this new work, Ruthie Wonders. So you should have a lot of nachas from her and only b'sura savos. Okay, today we're going to speak about the subject of lighting the menorah in shul. We know that primarily, fundamentally, the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah, Ner Ishu Beisai, devolves on the home. The mitzvah rests on the home. When's it home? It rests on the home, which means that even though Mahajin min ha-Mahajin is every person lights the menorah, actually that's for Ashkenazim. For Sfardim, even Mahajin min ha-Mahajin, one person in the family lights the menorah. Nevertheless, we come to shul, we light the menorah. We light the menorah in the shul. Why in the world are we lighting the menorah in the shul? The mitzvah is on the house, the Jewish home. The mitzvah is on the individual. There's no mitzvah on the shul. What's the inyan of lighting the menorah in the shul? Since when do we specifically, if we do a mitzvah as an individual, no, it's not enough that the individuals have to do the mitzvah. Now the shul has to do the mitzvah. Since when do shuls do mitzvahs? So you want to say it's a zecher to the mikdash. Okay. We don't have an arayin in the shul with a box with two cherubs on top of it. We don't have a shulchan. We don't have a kiyar. So we have a menorah. Why do we have a menorah? Zecher l'mikdash. Is that the reason? So let's look in the Shiurim Haleket. The Shiurim Haleket speaks about the mitzvah of lighting it in the shul. Take a look in the Shiurim Haleket. The first word on the line is lahanicha, about a quarter of the way down. Towards the end of the line, v'gam anu noyagin lahadlik bebeis Haknesses. There's a custom to light the menorah in the shul. Somebody could get a Mishabura Chelek Vav. V'lo yadanu shoyresh va'anaf l'minhag zeh. We have no idea the root of this minhag. We have no idea why. We do it, but we have no idea why we do it. Umayri Rabbi Yehuda Achi Sheni Nero Hayanimna Milhadlika. Rabbi Yehuda, my brother, thank you, would refrain from lighting it. Shaloi levarich aleha, not to make a bracha. Because how can you make a bracha on something that we have absolutely no idea why we're doing it? V'chein dati noite, says the Shiurim Haleket, I'm inclined to agree that how in the world can you make a bracha? Me'achar shekol echad ve'echad malik bebeisai. Every individual is lighting in his house. Ma tzarich lahadlik bebeis Haknesses. Why would you need to light it in shul? Now, if you're going to have guests who are sleeping in the shul, then they need to light. And if there are no guests, who exactly are you lighting it for? So,
Kiddush on Friday night?
What?
Like Kiddush and Shul on Friday night for those who aren't going to be lighting?
He's rejecting that. In other words, he's saying that if they're guests, then they need to do it. And if they're not guests, then who are you lighting it for? So the Rishonim struggle to understand the reason why we light Ner Chanukah in the shul. Ad kedei kach. Now this is very interesting. Today we came to shul, we said Hallel. We made a bracha because Hallel is a takana on Chanukah. They're koivei Chanukah, the Hallel v'hoida. What about on Rosh Chodesh? Do you make a bracha on Hallel on Chanukah? Raise your hand if you make a bracha on Hallel on Chanukah, on Rosh Chodesh. Do you make a bracha on Hallel on Rosh Chodesh? Or you just start, Hallelu, Hallelu Avdei Hashem. Do you make a bracha? Raise your hand if you don't make a bracha on Hallel. Yeah, Sfardim do not make a bracha on Hallel. And it's very questionable how Ashkenazim are allowed to make a bracha on Hallel. Did you ever think about it? How do we make a bracha on Hallel? Well, you think it's a mitzvah to say Hallel on Rosh Chodesh? No. It's not a mitzvah to say Hallel on Rosh Chodesh. Where'd you get that from? It's a minhag to say Hallel on Rosh Chodesh. Do you make a bracha when you eat jelly donuts? Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu Machilam, Asher kedeshanu b'mitzvos v'tzivanu al limsar nafshenu ala achilas jelly donuts. You don't make a bracha. You make a bracha when you play dreidel. You don't make a bracha when you play dreidel. So why do you make a bracha when you say Hallel? There's no halacha to say Hallel on Rosh Chodesh. It's a minhag. So why do you make a bracha? The answer is Ashkenazim have this unusual practice that we sometimes make brachas on minhagim. But Sfardim, that's why, because it's questionable, and some say you could only make Hallel with a bracha if you daven with a minyan. If you're running late to shul, and they're about to start Hallel, you don't even daven Shachris. You make sure to start Hallel with them so that you could sort of ensure that you're saying a bracha properly. You really want to daven with a minyan on Rosh Chodesh. It's here. You really want to daven with a minyan on. If anybody wants to eat breakfast because they feel they need to celebrate the victory of the Chashmonam, ba'achila, you go ahead, enjoy. Okay, but it's Ashkenazim have a practice that we make a bracha on minhagim in general. That's why we make a bracha on Hallel on Rosh Chodesh. But Sfardim do not make a bracha on minhagim. And therefore comes the Chacham Tzvi, and he says, what an unusual, strange thing it is that he's seen in Sfardic shuls, that they make a bracha on lighting the menorah in the shul. Lighting the menorah in the shul is only a minhag. So Ashkenazim, okay, their practice is we make brachas on minhagim. But a Sfardi to make a bracha on the menorah in shul. Now, do Sfardim make a bracha when they light the menorah in the shul? Does anybody know? In the Sephardic shuls, do they make a bracha when they light the menorah on Hanukkah? They do, of course they do. So how is that consistent with general Sephardic practice not to make a bracha on minhagim on Hanukkah? By the way, we have special machalim for Hanukkah. There's a new minhag to eat pancakes on Hanukkah. So that's also, you could be makayim if you want, or whatever you want. Bagels also are very connected to Hanukkah. Why? Not sure. What? Savivon. They're round, go round. Galgal, Yavan is Gematria Galgal, and bagels are round. Also, that's another way to be Meiser Nefesh. Instead of eating jelly donuts, you could eat a bagel. That's also a form of risking your life to, okay. Anyway, all health advice aside, that's the question. So the Shibali Haleket says we really don't know why we light the menorah in the shul. Everybody lights it at home. And the Chacham Tzvi says, especially for Sfardim, to make a bracha on Halakas Ner Chanukah in the shul, that requires a lot of explanation. So I want to share with you a Beis Yosef. The Beis Yosef gives 3 reasons why we light the menorah in shul. And I think one of them would even be able to explain the practice of making a bracha. And maybe this would explain the minhag of Sfardim, who usually do not make a bracha on minhagim. They would make a bracha on lighting the menorah in shul. Everyone have the sheet, the Beis Yosef? Do you have the Beis Yosef sheet? Did it make its rounds? Try to get out there the Beis Yosef. Maran Bet Yosef. Okay, this is the top right hand side. Umasha kasav shemenichin ner Chanukah bebeis Haknesses. Nira, says the Beis Yosef, shetiknu kain, they are masakein to light the menorah in the shul, mibnei ha'orchim, because of guests, she'en lahem bayis lahadlik bay, that do not have a house to light the menorah in. Kamoi shetiknu kiddush bebeis Haknesses, like Ravasi said, the same way they were masakein kiddush in a shul, misham archim, because of guests, da'achlu v'shas v'lei knishta, that eat and drink in the shul. There's a takana to make kiddush in the shul Friday night. Raise your hand if they make kiddush in your shul Friday night. Reb Avi came all the way from West Hempstead. In Young Israel of West Hempstead, they make kiddush Friday night?
I go to a satellite with the Young Israel.
The satellite Young Israel minyan makes kiddush. What about the actual Young Israel minyan? Do they? Probably they do. You're not sure. Okay, in this shul they do not. Did anybody ever see a shul where they make kiddush Friday night? In our old shul, Reb Nachum, where? Rabbi Ginsburg? No, in the old shul in Borough Park.
Young Israel of Staten Island.
The Young Israel of Staten Island. Also in Kahal Kadosh, Torath MF. I was the rabbi of the Torath MF That's the name of it. Jewish Center. The oldest, the first shul in Queens, in the entire borough, the first Orthodox shul in the entire borough of Queens. And in that shul, they made Kiddush Friday night until I got there. No, I let it go for a couple of years. And we stopped basically, we had to streamline the davening. It takes time. Nobody really, I think we stopped it basically. But it's an ancient Ashkenazi custom to make Kiddush in shul Friday night because of guests. Nowadays, when was the last time you came to a shul and there was a guy sitting in the back and he was going to be camping out there for the night? You see that? Maybe now in the new Machon, in the center of town, they probably need to make Kiddush there. And luckily they have a big Suda to have Kiddush on. Yeah. Anyway, so just like they were masaking to make Kiddush in a shul because of Orchim, so too, they were masaking to light the menorah in shul. V'chein kasav hakolboy, because of oita. Okay, that's reason number one, similar to Kiddush in shul. So on that you could ask, but in my shul they don't make Kiddush Friday night because we're not really concerned that they're going to be guests. So it doesn't make sense to light the menorah in the shul. V'kasav oitam, another reason is, shehu kedei lefarsem hanes b'fnei kol ha'am. You want to spread the miracle before all the people. Pause. What do you mean you want to spread the miracle before all the people? But everyone's going to light in their house. So what more do you need to do?
You have to light it inside at some dangerous point.
Okay, that's going to be another reason. Good reason, but that's going to be a separate reason. But what's this reason of Persume Nisa? What do you mean Persume Nisa? Everyone's doing it at home anyway. Now, do you have the Harei Kedem? Did I give you Harei Kedem yet? Mm-hmm. Page Reish Pehei? Mm-hmm. I have one more here. Yehuda can have it. Harei Kedem. So again, we want to know what is this reason of the Beis Yosef als Persume Nisa? You're doing it in your house anyway. Now let's discuss, we're segueing into another topic. Last night, did you first make Havdalah or did you first light the menorah? We're taking a poll. Don't change your answer because you're embarrassed. You're going to go on record now. Tell me what you did. Just say it straight. No. Raise your hand if you first did Havdalah. I'm not telling you what I did. Raise your hand if you first made Havdalah. Raise your hand if you first lit the menorah. Nobody. Nobody? Many poskim say you should first light the menorah. What do you do in shul? Do you first light the menorah or do you first make Havdalah? You say they don't make Havdalah in my shul. Yeah, but what about the Young Israel of Staten Island where they made Havdalah, right? In the Young Israel, Yehuda lanes in the Young Israel of Staten Island? Sometimes. Yehuda Fuchs, Halevi, lanes in the Young Israel. First, what do? I'm sure they first light the menorah. In shuls, they first light the menorah and then they say Havdalah. But in most homes, they first make Havdalah and then they light the menorah. So why in the shul do they first light the menorah and then make Havdalah? That's the kasha that the Harei Kedem addresses, because in Shulchan Aruch Siman Taf Reish Pei Aleph he brings that in a shul first you light the menorah and then you make Havdalah, and in the Beis many follow the Taz that they first make Havdalah and then they light the menorah. I want to share with you that Rav Henkin in Ezra's Torah calendar he brings there are different opinions what to do at home. He says it's better to first make Havdalah and then to light Ner Chanukah. Why? Because Havdalah, he says like this: V'hatam shebehavdalah im ktsas mukdam, v'hu mahader yachel achar, gam kein lahadlik ner shel havdalah, v'hu yavdil, v'achar gadlik ba'atzmai ner Chanukah. There's some kind of punctuation mistake over here. But Rav Henkin says it's better to first make Havdalah. So why in the shul do we first light the menorah? Listen to this Lomdus. He brings from Moshe Soloveitchik that in the shul it's different. He says, why do we light the menorah in the shul? So we saw, the Beis Yosef says, Persume Nisa. What do you mean Persume Nisa? That everyone lights it at home. Listen to the Lomdus. Whenever it comes to Persume Nisa, there's an idea the individual has to spread it and the tzibur has to spread it. Where do we find such a thing? There's only one other example. Raise your hand if the night of Pesach you say Hallel in shul. Why aren't you davening in this shul? We don't say Hallel over here. Say because I'm not here that night, you know. Minhag of Sfardim is to say Hallel the night of the Seder in shul, and many poskim also say in Minhag Ashkenaz to say Hallel in the shul on Leil Seder. Why? But you're going to say it in the Seder. Why would you say it in shul? Says the Gra, because there's a chiyuv on the Yachid and there's a chiyuv on the Tzibor. So this shows when it comes to Persumei Nisa, it's not enough for every individual to be Mefarsim the Nes, the Tzibor has to be Mefarsim the Nes. So the Tzibor says Hallel and the Yachid says Hallel. So the Yachid lights the Menorah and the Tzibor lights the Menorah. On Purim, we just do the, well, you could say, the individual would be Mekayim Shmishlach Manos and Matanos Aviyanim. So that's a kiyum on the Yachid. You could say also, there's the chiyuv of the Megillah is also on the Yachid. But there's a very important inyan to make sure that you do it b'tzibur. There are even shitas that say maybe you wouldn't be yotzei if you don't do it b'tzibur. So maybe when it comes to Purim, we like kill two birds with one stone. We do it as individuals and at tzibur simultaneously. That's the Lomdus why in the shul you need to first light the menorah and then make Havdalah. Listen to this Lomdus. He says, because if you first make Havdalah, davening is over. And if davening is over, then the people gathered in the shul don't have a din of a tzibur anymore. What, because they have to say Aleinu? Who cares they have to say Aleinu? There's no din tzibur on saying Aleinu. You don't need a minyan to say Aleinu. So what we do is we prolong Havdalah so that the people still have a status of a tzibur, so you can be mekayim the inyan of Persumei Nisa as a tzibur. That's why he brings, the minhag of Rabbi Chaim Brisker was that he would not light the menorah on Matzah Shabbos after Vihinayam, only before Vihinayam. Why? Because once you say Vihinayam and V'ata Kadosh, there's no longer a chiv on the tzibur to do anything. But so long as they're still tied down as a tzibur to say Kedusha de Sidra, they have a din of a tzibur, and they can be Mekayim Adlakas Ner Menorah as a tzibur. So I think this gives Hezber, and what the Beis Yosef is saying, is that the reason to light the menorah in the shul is Persumei Nisa. Every individual will be Mefarsim the Nes. No, they're only doing it as individuals. There's an idea to be Mefarsim the Nes as a tzibur. And then look further in the Beis Yosef. Now this still would not explain Sfardim, because Sfardim don't make brachas on minhagim. This is still a minhag. It's not a. You're saying maybe this is a chiyuv. Maybe meaning according to the Goin, do Sfardim the night of Pesach say Hallel and Shul? They do. Do they make a bracha? They do. Even though Rosh Chodesh, they don't make a bracha. So maybe this would be a good answer. That Sfardim don't make a bracha on minhag, but Persumei Nisa is a chiyuv. And Persumei Nisa as a tzibur, as a chiyuv, therefore perhaps they would make a bracha on halakas menorah. So that would be one interesting answer to the Chacham Tzvi's question. By the way, in this week's Art Scroll magazine, they have an excerpt of The Light and the Splendor, and they say over Dvar Torah, and they put in a picture of the Chacham Tzvi. The only thing is it doesn't actually quote the Chacham Tzvi. So I was wondering why there's a picture of the Chacham Tzvi. So I didn't know it was going to be for the Sunday shir. So, no, actually the Dvar Torah they quote is the Chacham Tzvi, it's just, they don't bring it from the Chacham Tzvi. I can't take responsibility, but now we know the real reason why there's a picture. If you want to know what the Chacham Tzvi looks like, pass it around so people know what the Chacham Tzvi looks like. This is the kasha of the Chacham Tzvi. Why do Sfardim make a bracha on halakas ner Chanukah in the shul? So answer number one that we're offering is it's a chiyuv of Persumei Nisa on the tzibur based on Rabbi Chaim Brisker that we see from the Goin that just like Leil Seder, there's an inyan to say Hallel on the tzibur, so too there's an inyan to light the menorah as a tzibur. But then he says something very interesting. Look at the words of the Beis Yosef. Ulesader habrachos lefneihem, and to arrange the brachos before them. Sheyesh bazeh pirsum gadol Hashem yisbarach. It's a great publicity for Hashem, the kiddush shemay and a sanctification of His name. Kishem mevarchin oisai b'makelos, when we bless Him in public. To me, there might be a nakuda here. What does it mean, ulasader habrachos lefneihem? Is he saying that we need to publicly make the brachos because the public recitation of the brachos is Persumei Nisa? Or is there also an element that we need to, so to speak, show the people what to do when they light the menorah? Maybe it's confusing. There are 3 brachos, lahadlik, sha'asa nisim, shechianu, and we need to basically give it a course to people what they need to do when they get home. We need to be mesader the brachos in front of them.
Why are we saying all 3 if it's just seaboard nace? Can't do one without.
If it's just Persumei Nisa?
Yeah.
So which one should we do? Sha'asa nisim only?
Yeah. You can't do one
I guess the mitzvah is to light the menorah in order to be mefarsem the nes. So you can make the bracha lahadlik. There is a mitzvah of lighting, and there's a mitzvah of publicizing the miracle. But I'm just suggesting, is it possible that the reason he's giving is we need to arrange the brachos in front of the tzibor? Yes, by doing so, that's a Persumei Nisa. But there's also an inyan that to show them the brachos to make. In that case, maybe that's the reason why Sfardim make the bracha. If the concept of doing it is to be mesader the brachos in front of the people, which would come out very interesting then. What do you do on Erev Shabbos when you're first lighting at home and then you're lighting in the shul? So that can't be because you're being mesader the brachos in front of them. So that would indicate that mesader the brachos in front of them is only an inyan of Persumei Nisa. Now, here's another reason why we light the menorah in shul. V'zel l'shayin harivash b'tshuva. This is what the Rivash says in the tshuva. Haminag hazeh lahadlik b'Beis Haknesses minag vasikenhu. It's a minag vasiken. Now, what does that mean? Anybody know what minag vasiken means? It's a very old custom. It's a very old custom. Misham Persumei Nisa. Why? Kivan she'ein anu yichaylam l'kayim hamitzvah ketikuna lahadlik kol echa b'Pesach beisai mi bachutz. Like Rabbi Yossi said, that we're not able to be mekayim the mitzvah the way it's legislated in the Gemara, to light the menorah, each person in the entrance of his door, outside. Do you light the menorah outside? Do you light the menorah outside? No, we do it by the window. But in many places in the Galus, or even back in the day in Eretz Yisrael, they couldn't light outside. Somebody once asked Reb Shmuel Kamenetsky, nowadays we live in a very tolerant country, maybe we should light it outside. So Reb Shmuel said, they're not throwing rocks? He said, huh? The next night, rocks came by his window. Wow. So we don't light the menorah outside. We don't do it. Since we don't do it, in order to, so to speak, make up for that, we have to light it in some public area. So this is like a tashlumin of the fact we can't be mekayim the mitzvah ketikuna. Now, I'm going to come to you, David, in a moment. I want to just let's think for a moment. Are there any nafkaminas between these reasons? The first reason is, it's like Kiddush Friday night in the shul. Now, in a certain sense, that's become a dinosaur. That custom's like a dinosaur. In most shuls, they're not doing that anymore. So then, could you say the same thing about lighting the menorah in a shul? Is it obsolete? Just, again, we don't have the capacity to be mavatel, but just speaking out of nafkamina. If it's a din of Persumei Nisa, that there's a din on the tzibor to be mefarsem the nes, do I need to be there for that? When there's a chiyuv on the tzibor, do I need to be part of that tzibor? Let's say I need to make a phone call between Mincha and Maariv. Am I allowed to walk out and miss the hadlakas ha-menorah in the shul? L'chayra not. That would be like missing Kriyas HaTorah. There's a chiyuv on the tzibor, but I'm part of the tzibor. I need to be there. I need to be part of that.
The cotton lights, what you see, right? Sometimes you see.
You want to know, could a katan light the menorah?
Could a cotton light
in the shul?
In the shul, and if you can, then how is he being incisive? Right?
I'm going to come to that because that's another Chacham Tzvi. David, I'm sorry, you want to say?
Could it be, is the Mishnah in Baba Batra that camel with flax, it might catch on fire, could be a fire hazard outside?
Yeah, but that Mishnah says, Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi, b'ner Chanukah pater. For ner Chanukah, we allow the temporary fire hazard. So the reason we don't do it outside is because of the nations of the world. I want to come to what you're saying because that might be a nafkamina also. Could a katan shehigia lechinuch light the menorah in a shul, or even light the menorah in a house? Okay, let me segue into that for a second. One second, hold on to that because I lost my chain of thought. I wanted to say that according to the third reason, that we light the menorah in a shul because we have to make up for not lighting it in the proper place in our home, l'chayr would come out that it would be incumbent upon people to participate in the halakha of the shul because we're all lacking in some sense in the halakha we do. We light it indoors and we're missing that lighting of outdoors, so we should try to participate in the lighting. So in other words, according to that, let's say I could daven in two shuls. I could daven in a shul where they're going to light the menorah, or I could daven in a shul where it's like a minyan factory and they don't light the menorah by every minyan. Should a person be makbid to go to a shul where they're going to be lighting the menorah between mincha and marav? Look, I never heard of such a hidur, but according to this reason of the Beis Yosef, maybe there would be such an inyan. And then he says, "Umevarchim al zeh k'mosh mevarchin al halal derosh chodesh, afal pi she'eno yala minhag." Now the Beis Yosef says we make a bracha on this, like we make a bracha on Rosh Chodesh, on Halal and Rosh Chodesh, even though Sfardim do not do that. Okay, so these are a number of very interesting reasons for lighting the menorah in a shul. Another reason is like Reb Menachem Yishai Halevi said, is that some Rishonim say that lighting the menorah in a shul is Zecher LeMikdash. Is Zecher LeMikdash. Who says that? I'm going to tell you in a minute. There are poskim that say lighting the menorah in a Beis Haknesses. Where is it? Is a zecher to the Beis HaMikdash. Can't find it. Tafresh Ayin Vav, no? Oh. Okay. Here we go. The kolbai that the Beis Yosef quotes, the Beis Yosef doesn't quote this part of the kolbai, but the kolbai that the Beis Yosef quotes says that lighting the menorah in the shul is a zeicha lemikdash. Now, look where the menorah is lit in the shul. What side is it lit on? It's the Darim, where the menorah is in the Beis HaMikdash. Okay, so the menorah in the shul, you light it in the Darim. That's also Zeicha LeMikdash. Lamaisa, the first two reasons, because of guests, does not really apply anymore. The second reason, many poskim say doesn't apply, because everybody does it at home. But according to the way we read the Beis Yosef, it very much applies, because it's not a din that every individual has to be in Farsam Nes, it's a din on the Tzibur. How about in Eretz Yisrael? They light outside. So maybe in Eretz Yisrael there's less of a reason to light the menorah in the shul. Okay. Now, because lighting in the shul is not me'ikar hadin, it's only persumei nisa, are you supposed to put out your menorah after 30 minutes? The menorah burns for 30 minutes. So you say, okay, I could put it out. No, it's ideal not to do that, not to put out the menorah. But what if you're in a shul and it already burnt for 30 minutes? Can you put it out? Can you put out the menorah in the shul that burnt for 30 minutes? You can. You know why? Because the reason it's not me'ikar hadin, it's only zeicha lemikdash, it's only Persume Nisa for the tzibur. So once you're Mekayim that, you could put it out. And what if you lit the menorah and everyone has to go home and it's only burnt for 15 minutes and you can't hang around? Could you put out the menorah in the shul? Else maybe a sakana? You could. So in the shul, it is more lenient than in your house. But let's say you're going to a Hanukkah party, you lit the menorah, now you want to put it out, you can't do it. You could have your neighbor check on it, but you can't put it out for sure within 30 minutes. Now, an interesting question is, okay. Okay, you want to know about in the morning? What in the world are we doing in the morning? I'm going to talk about a different topic. I have that prepared also, but I'm not sure we're going to get to it. Let's talk about your question first. Okay, can a katan shehigia lechinuch light the menorah in the shul? Think about it. There's no mitzvah on the act of lighting. The mitzvah is that it should be lit, that people should see it. So could anyone light the menorah? Could anyone light the menorah in the shul? Could anyone light the menorah in the shul? The Minchas Yitzchak says, Katan shegiya lechinuch madlik. Katan shegiya lechinuch madlik. But al kavod tzibur, we don't do it. I would say, maybe even Katan shelo higia lechinuch could light. And let me explain why. Stamazai, there's a geshmak stira in the Shulchan Aruch. You know that the Shulchan Aruch paskins halacha l'maisa, that in the shita that one person in the family lights the ner for everybody, the mechaber paskins katan shegiya lechinuch could light the menorah for the whole family. And what is the mechaber paskin by Hilchos Megillah? Could a katan shegiya lechinuch be moitzi other people in Megillas Esther? No. So it's a stira. Why by the menorah could katan shegiya lechinuch be moitzi everyone in halakas ha-menorah, and katan shegiya lechinuch cannot be moitzi everyone in laning the Megillah? Why could they light the menorah and not lane the Megillah? Right? That's the kasha of Shas Chuvas Chacham Tzvi. Where is he? Where'd he go? In the Art Scroll booklet this week, there's a picture of the Chacham Tzvi, because we were quoting him a lot. This is what he looks like. This was the exact color of Bekisha that he wore, like beige green. No, I don't think they know that. Is that, Naftali, is that an accurate depiction of the color? You hear this as yes? Yeah. Okay. This is the Chacham Tzvi. Did you hear his kasha? The kasha, by the way, in the Olam HaYeshivas, they're going to say you're going to go to a Hanukkah party today, maybe in Lakewood, and they're going to say, Reb Shmuel Rozovsky asks in the Zichron Shmuel. So what do you mean Reb Shmuel Rozovsky? It's in the Shas Chuvas Chacham Tzvi. They're going to say, what? It's not in there. Say, yeah, it's in Shas Chacham Tzvi HaChadashos. Okay, in the back of Chacham Tzvi, I think it's Siman Tes. So they're going to say, whoa, wow. You know, say 5 towns, you know. So they're going to say it's from Reb Shmuel Rozovsky. Say, yes, it's from Reb Shmuel Rozovsky, but the Chacham Tzvi already asked the kasha. Stira in the Mechaber. What? Why is not? It's in Chadasha, so just a new series of tshuvas. It doesn't mean new print. It's like the Chelek Beis. Yeah. Now, they both give the same answer. Rishon Rozovsky and the Chacham Tzvi. You ready for the answer? The mitzvah of laning the Megillah is chal on the yachid. Every yachid has to lane. So how could this kid be moitzi me? I'm really chayiv and he's only chayiv al tchinuch. He can be moitzi me. The mitzvah of Ner Chanukah fundamentally is not on the individual, it's on the home. The home has to have a Ner Chanukah. So however it has, by hook or by crook, he could do it. As long as a Bar Yisrael, who has an obligation to do it, does it, it's good enough. According to that, for sure in the shul, Katan Shegiya L'Chinuch could do it. I guess Katan Shelo Yigia L'Chinuch, it doesn't have a din of a Maisa Hadlaka. By the way, according to Beis Yosef, it's also to be Mesader, the Bracha, Islifnei, the Tzibur. And definitely the Indian of Persume Nisa, maybe outs that, the Katan should not be the one to do it. But Here's another interesting nafkamina. Let's say between Mincha and Mariv, 4 guys go out to make a phone call, and you don't have a minyan. Do you need a minyan for Hadlakas Ner Chanukah and Shul? That's an interesting shaila, no? Do you need to have a minyan? Do you need a minyan to, the Mishnah Berurah talks about it. Siman Taf Reish Ayin Aleph. Taf Reish Ayin Aleph. Sif Katan Mem Vav. Second, the Mishnah Berurah says, here we go. Lahadlik b'beis Haknesses ben mincha l'marav. By the way, the Shulchan Aruch says, u'bebeis Haknesses manichai b'koisel daraim u'madlikin u'mevorchin mishum persumei nisa. Not mishum minhag, the Shulchan Aruch says. That's the pshat what Sfardim do. They're not making a bracha because of minhag. They're doing it out persumei nisa. We asked every individual. No, persumei nisa on the tzibur. Says Mishnah Berurah, afilu anoigim lahadlik b'choyam mitzvah sakacham beis Haknesses noigim achar mincha b'shasham mekubatzim. What about, do you need a minyan? Do you need a minyan? The Be'er Halacha says, "Hamekel lahadlik b'loy minyan yesh loy ami lismaich." To make a bracha on the menorah and the shul without a minyan, you have what to rely on. As long as afterwards for Mariv, the minyan will gather. What do you do Erev Shabbos? You're waiting there in the shul. There are 3 guys in the shul. You know. Could you light the menorah? Do you need to wait till a minyan? We wait till a minyan. Mincha is going to be delayed. The Be'er Halacha says you could be soymech if you're mekel to light the menorah without a minyan in the shul. You have what to rely on, provided that ultimately a minyan will gather. Okay, I'll just tell you one more thing, because Rabbi Yossi is asking, okay, this is all good for lighting the menorah at night. You want to light it at night, like Kiddush Friday night in shul, for orchim who don't have a menorah, or we have to be mefarsim it as a tzibur, or what was the other reason? We have to be mesader the brachos, or we don't do it properly at home, so this is a way of being mashlim it. But what in the world are we doing lighting the menorah in the morning? So, in this sefer, Imrei Baruch of Harav Baruch Simon, who's a Rosh Shiva in Yeshivas Rabbeinu Yitzchak Elchanan, he has a beautiful set of svarim called Imrei Baruch. He brings a very interesting reason for why we light the menorah in the shul. And that is, the Rambam paskins that in the Beis HaMikdash there was a mitzvah of hadlaka at night and hatavas haneros in the morning. They would clean the menorah in the morning. And if it went out, they would also light it in the morning. So, according to that, this fits better into the reason that Rabbi Nachum said that the Kolboy brings, that it's a zecher lemikdash. So if it's out persumei nisa, there's no reason to light in the morning. If it's like Kiddush, there's no reason to do it in the morning. If it's we have to be mashlim, something we're missing, there's no reason to do it in the morning. But if it's out zecher lemikdash, then in the Beis HaMikdash, or it could be for all of the above reasons. But now the hadlaka in the morning, we do not make a bracha. But there's an idea that lighting the menorah in the morning is according to the shitas of the Rambam, that there's a mitzvah of hatavas haneros in the morning, and that is fulfilled by lighting. Here it is. You ready? In the Sefer Minog Yisrael Torah of Rabbi Yosef Lowy, also in the Sefer Binyan Shloimeh, Siman Nun Gimel, he brings like this. Reb Shlomo Chaim of Vilna. He says, "Va'ala b'daiti du'ula yatsa haminag kedei latzeis das harambam degam beboiker hayitzarach lahadlik neiros hamenoira im matzaan kvuyos." The Rambam paskins that if you come to Beis Hamikdash in the morning and you found that the neiros were extinguished, you lit them again. That's what it means. Ba'boiker beheitivoi es haneiros. Like the Rambam says in Hilchos Tmidim u'Musafim, the Binyan Shlomo says the minhag of lighting the menorah in the Beis Haknesses is from the Shita of the Rambam, that if you found the menorah went out, you were meitiv it, and part of Hatava was lighting it in the morning. Also, the Levushe Mordechai, Rabbi Mordechai Leib Winkler, he also writes that the reason we light it by Shacharis is Zecher LeMenorah of the Beis HaMikdash. So that reasoning of Zecher LeMikdash has an nafkamina that we also light it in the morning, but that we don't make a bracha for. So you see, Al Zecher LeMikdash, we don't make brachas. When you take the arava and you hit it on the ground on Hoshana Rabbah, you don't make a bracha. You don't make a bracha on Zecher LeMikdash. But like if you're Medayik and Lashon LeMachaber, we make a bracha in the shul because Persume Nisa, you make a bracha on. What other example of Persume Nisa do we find? I guess Hallel, the night of the Seder. But I wonder, what about those who don't say Hallel the night of the Seder in the shul? They still light the menorah.
Megillah, you make the bracha on the Seder, right?
Megillah, you're making the bracha not on the Persume Nisa, you're making it on the Kriyas HaMegillah. So let's end off with one question. For those who don't say Hallel, Leil Seder in the shul, why would they make a bracha on the menorah in the shul? In other words, for those who don't make the bracha on the Hallel, Leil Seder, but menorah they would make a bracha on. Okay, it's a good question to think about. Rabbi Meir, Chanukah, Shkaya.